Good afternoon and welcome to Videos That Empower You. Today I want to cover a topic called Sen SEO. That's S-E-N SEO. Now the reason I want to cover this is because we've talked about SEO both on-page and off-page techniques over the past weeks. You understand the value of the on-page SEO, and you also understand the value of getting inbound links or off-page SEO. So this tool will allow you to check your competition, find your number one competitor and see, are they doing it right? Now, to show you this, I'm actually going to search for a site that I'm competing against. I'm going to find online marketing tips sites. So this is one of my primary keywords, so I'm looking for my number one competitor. My number one competitor is a site called marketingtips.com. So I'm going to click to go here, and we're going to use Sen SEO to determine what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. Now Sen SEO merges with Firebug, so if you don't have Firebug, your Sen SEO will need it to in order to run. So I'm simply going to click on Firebug, and this is going to open up our Firebug pane. You've seen this before. There's the HTML on the left and the CSS on the right. I now have a new tab across the top of my Firebug that says Sen SEO. This allows me to put in a keyword that I want to know how they're optimizing for. So I'm going to go ahead and just put online marketing. I'm going to leave the tips off and just put online marketing, and I'm going to inspect the SEO criteria. Now this is where things get really fun. I know we've talked about on-page SEO in the past, things like title tags, meta descriptions, keyword tags. What Sen SEO does is walk through each one of the tags, each one of the elements that Google uses and grades on, and evaluates, are you doing it right or wrong. If you're doing it wrong, it'll be either orange for a warning or red for an error or something that is really you need to address. Now this is kind of a small view. One thing I like to do is click on the print view, and this will open a new tab in your browser that will allow you to print it out, review it, walk through and see it a little more clearly. So again, I'm looking at my competitor. He's got a overall grade of B, and here are the things that he's doing wrong. He's not using his meta keywords correctly, or that key term is not in his meta keywords. So he probably has one, but what Sen SEO is saying, he doesn't have them all in there. He is also using keywords that are not necessarily relevant to the content on page. So that's something he could do better. And in order to beat him out, that's one thing I really need to make sure I'm doing correctly. Only use relevant keywords which can be found within the body of my content. Next, what he's doing is wrong is the H1 should include all the keywords. Now again, H1 are typically these larger display areas up here, for example. I'm betting this is an H2 and this is an H1. So again, I'm going to use Firebug to see that's his H1. So his H1 doesn't say marketing tips. It doesn't say online marketing. And what Sen SEO is telling him is he needs to improve that. His H1 tag needs to include his primary keyword. Okay, he is using the H2 and the H3, so that's pretty good. It doesn't currently evaluate the content, that's why it's gray. It's not something it's going to look at. But it is warning him that he failed this section. See, it has a D. He failed this section. The images should always have the alt tags or the alternate texts. Now if we again click on our Firebug and hover over an image, we can see right here that he's defined the image, but the alt tag is empty. Now this is an opportunity for him to put his primary keyword in a second time. Find a product idea for online marketing would be a great alt tag. It lets the handicap visitors know, and by the way, that's what the alt tag is for. screen readers will read the alt text to people who are blind, for example. So if he put in find a product idea for online marketing tips, then he has his alt text, his keyword in there a second time. That's one thing that he could do better on this site. Okay, the domain doesn't include all his keywords. Now, this is pretty much always going to be yellow for you unless you've chosen a very keyword-rich domain name that reflects your primary keyword. Now, in my case, my domain is senenailer.com. So my domain name will never contain my primary keyword. Now, an inner page will, if for example I have senenailer.com/blogging techniques/online marketing tips using your blog, then online marketing would then appear within my URL. So while this is something to consider, it's not something you should beat yourself up over, and frequently it's not something you can do anything about if you've already purchased your domain. Now, in addition to telling you what it did wrong, what this site did wrong, this also reminds you what you should be doing, and I use it as kind of a checklist now. I can print this out for my site and then go through and make sure I've done each one of these things. And if I do each one of these things consistently on every post, then I'm going to get a higher grade and a better SEO. Google's going to love me more because I'm doing everything according to the rules they say will help me get found. Now, I'm not going to embarrass myself and run Sen SEO against my own site right now. I'm betting Amy is already doing that, and she'll see that there are a few things that I've done wrong. I've not optimized. I'm so busy teaching it, I'm not doing it. So I do need to go back to my sites and address that. One thing that really got me when I did examine it last night was none of my images had alt text. Now understand, I teach it, so this is a case of do what I say, not what I do. But I have begun going back to my site and making sure every image has an alt tag. And again, it gives you an opportunity to use your keyword again, but make it make sense. In other words, don't just stuff the same keyword over and over and over into every alt tag. That'll get you in trouble. Each alt tag should do what it was designed to do, and that's tell a handicapped visitor what that image is about. So, find a product idea for online marketing, photo or button or image, something along those lines, so that tells them what it is they're seeing there. And make sure and do it even on your opt-in forms. Now that was one thing I found, and here, let me show you that. My opt-in form, and most of yours as well, might use a hidden input. And so if we take a look from a hidden input standpoint, how do we get an alt tag in there? So let me pop this up and show you. It's actually pretty easy. I'm hovering over this image, and you just add alt equal. It works the same whether it's an input that is some type of hidden field within the form or an image you're placing online. Now see, here's one I